In the heart of the financial district, where steel behemoths scraped the sky like jagged teeth and a relentless wind bore the scent of ambition, I stood on the precipice. Dr. Diana Monroe, a name synonymous with neither power nor prestige. Yet beneath the plain white coat that cloaked me was a raging tempest, a cynical, dogged woman with a vendetta that clawed at my soul like a specter, refusing to be silenced. A man appeared, silhouetted against the flickering glow of a single. David, a former detective, his salt-and-pepper hair and hunched posture a stark reminder of battles fought and lost. He taught history now, but whispers trailed him like shadows, hinting at a time when he chased criminals through the labyrinth of the city. A sense of familiarity gnawed at me as I stepped closer, my heels echoing against the cobblestones. David, with his weary eyes and wearying smile, didn't seem to notice me. His gaze lingered on the distant horizon, a testament to battles long past that still haunted him. "David," I began, my voice barely a whisper. The air crackled between us as he turned, surprise etched across his weathered face. "I need your help." He raised an eyebrow, his gaze flicking over me before settling on my face. "You're the new doctor at Mark's, aren't you? Diana." He trailed off, the corners of his mouth twitching in what could have been a smile if not for the weight of his thoughts. "I know who I am," I retorted, my voice hardening as I fought back the memories that threatened to overwhelm me. "And I know your history, David." His eyes narrowed, his jaw clenching as he struggled with whatever demons haunted him. "You're not here for a friendly chat, are you?" I shook my head, my heart pounding in my chest like a drum. "No, I'm not. A body was found at Mark's yesterday. The autopsy report matches the description of one of your old cases." His expression never faltered as he replied, his voice devoid of emotion. "I don't remember every case, Diana. We all have our demons." "The victim was a child," I pressed on, my voice trembling. "A child who could have been saved if you hadn't given up." His gaze softened then, the ghost of a tear glistening in his eyes before vanishing as quickly as it appeared. "I'll help," he said quietly, his voice barely more than a whisper. "For the child, and for me." As we walked away, the city slipping into darkness around us, I felt a strange sense of hope. With David by my side, perhaps I could bring justice to those who had been forgotten, and maybe even lay my own demons to rest. But I knew better than to expect easy answers or a clean conscience. In this world, there were no heroes, only flawed individuals stumbling through the shadows in search of redemption. The morning sun crept over the skyscrapers like a timid cat, its golden rays illuminating our grimy path through the financial district. David, my reluctant ally, walked ahead, his shoulders stooped under the weight of unspoken words and unshed tears. I trailed behind him, the echo of our footsteps the only sound breaking the silence that had settled over us. We arrived at Mark's, a once grand institution now crumbling under the weight of neglect and indifference. The building's cold stone walls seemed to close in on us, suffocating in their silence. I could feel the ghosts of countless lives whispering through the corridors, urging us forward. Inside, the hospital was a chaotic symphony of beeping machines, crying babies, and hurried footsteps. The morgue lay hidden at its heart, a cold, sterile tomb where death knelt in quiet prayer. As we stepped inside, the air grew colder still, heavy with the weight of secrets long buried. The body lay on a metal slab, lifeless eyes staring blankly upwards. A chill ran down my spine as I recognized the small, fragile form. It was her, the child from David's old case. The sight tore a raw, searing pain through me, awakening the demons that had lain dormant for years. "What did you do to her, David?" I whispered, my voice trembling with anger and sorrow. "Why didn't you save her?" He stood silently for a moment before speaking, his voice taut with emotion. "I failed her, Diana," he said quietly, his gaze never leaving the lifeless child. "But I won't let that happen again." We spent hours poring over old files and autopsy reports, our fingers tracing over the words as if they could unlock the secrets hidden within them. With each passing minute, the threads of the case began to unravel, revealing a tapestry of deceit and corruption woven through the very fabric of society. As we dug deeper, it became clear that this was no ordinary case. There were powerful forces at play, forces determined to keep the truth buried. We were treading on dangerous ground, but I couldn't ignore the call of justice, not when I knew what it was like to lose hope. That night, as we sat in a small diner nursing cups of bitter coffee that did little to warm us, David finally revealed his reasons for leaving the force. "I made mistakes," he admitted, his voice heavy with regret. I let the system corrupt me, but I won't let it happen again." His words hung in the air between us, a promise of vengeance and redemption. I looked at him, seeing not just an old detective haunted by his past, but a man determined to right his wrongs. In that moment, I knew we would find justice for the child and perhaps, in doing so, find peace for ourselves. As we left the diner, the city seemed to come alive around us. The flickering cast long shadows across our path, and the wind whispered through the cobblestones, carrying with it the scent of 1,000 secrets waiting to be uncovered. We walked into the darkness together, united in our pursuit of truth and driven by our demons. The sun was rising as we reached David's apartment, the first light of dawn casting a golden hue over the city. We stood on his balcony, watching the skyline awaken, and I felt a strange sense of hope. With each passing day, we were drawing closer to the truth, unraveling the threads that bound us to our pasts. But the road ahead was long and fraught with danger. We would face adversaries powerful and ruthless, and there would be moments when we questioned ourselves, our resolve wavering in the face of darkness. But I knew we couldn't back down. Not now, not when we were so close to justice. As I turned to leave, David took my hand, his grip firm and comforting. "We'll do this together, Diana," he said quietly, his eyes searching mine for understanding. I nodded, my heart swelling with gratitude and determination. Together, we would face the shadows that haunted us, seeking justice for those who had been forgotten. And perhaps, in doing so, we would find a way to lay our own demons to rest. As dawn broke over the city, a cold chill settled upon our shoulders as we delved deeper into the labyrinth of corruption that had ensnared us. With each passing day, the layers of deception peeled away, revealing a monster lurking in the shadows, a beast born from greed and power. We spent our days poring over old case files, piecing together the puzzle like two detectives on the edge of the abyss. Our nights were spent hunting for answers, our footsteps echoing through the empty streets as we followed the trail of breadcrumbs left behind by the monster we sought. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, we found ourselves in a seedy bar, hidden away in a narrow alley. The air was thick with the smell of stale beer and sweat, and the patrons eyed us warily as we sat down at a table in the corner. "There's something I need to tell you," David began abruptly, his gaze locked on the surface of the table. "I've been hiding something." My heart pounded in my chest as he continued, his voice barely more than a whisper. "I was part of a task force years ago, one that went after a powerful criminal organization. We thought we had them cornered, but then they disappeared without a trace. The investigation was closed, and I was moved to another case." His eyes met mine, the pain etched deep within them. "Their leader. He wasn't just a criminal, Diana. He was a predator, a monster who fed on the suffering of others. And now it seems he's back." I felt a chill run through me as I realized the truth. The monster we sought was not some random killer, but the very same man David had been after all those years ago. "We need to find him," I said fiercely, my resolve hardening with each passing word, "and put an end to his reign of terror." Over the next few days, we dug deeper into the case, uncovering a trail of bodies that stretched back years. Each victim was linked to the criminal organization David had once pursued, and each death was marked by the same brutal efficiency. As we followed the trail, we found ourselves drawn deeper into the heart of darkness. We met with informants who spoke in hushed whispers, their eyes darting nervously as they told us tales of fear and corruption. We trailed shadows through the city's underbelly, chasing rumors that seemed to lead nowhere. One night, as we sat in a diner, our fingers tracing over maps marked with red X's, I felt a strange sense of unease. The air was heavy with tension, and I could feel eyes on us from every corner of the room. "We're being watched," David murmured, his gaze sweeping the crowd warily. "I can feel it." My heart raced as I realized he was right. We were no longer just investigators. We had become a threat to those who sought to maintain their power and control. And now they were watching us, waiting for an opportunity to strike. As we left the diner, our steps quickened, our senses on high alert. We knew that danger lurked around every corner, that at any moment we could be ambushed by the very forces we sought to bring down. But we couldn't turn back now, not when we were so close to the truth. As we walked through the empty streets, the wind whispering through the cobblestones, I felt a strange sense of calm wash over me. This was what we had been searching for, the chance to bring justice to those who had been forgotten, to lay our own demons to rest. And now we were finally on the brink of success. As dawn broke over the city once more, I knew that the battle was far from over. We would face adversaries powerful and ruthless, and there would be moments when we questioned ourselves, our resolve wavering in the face of darkness. But I also knew that we were united in our pursuit of truth, driven by our demons and guided by a shared vision of justice. With every step we took, we moved closer to our enemy, the monster lurking in the shadows. And as we drew nearer, I could feel the fear that had gripped the city for so long beginning to dissipate. For the first time in years, hope was stirring in the hearts of the people, a beacon of light cutting through the darkness. And as we faced our enemy, I knew that we would not falter. We would stand together, united in our pursuit of justice, and we would bring the monster to its knees. For this was not just a battle for us. It was a fight for the souls of those who had been forgotten, a struggle for redemption and a chance at a brighter future. As the sun rose over the city, casting long shadows across our path, I felt a strange sense of peace wash over me. The road ahead was long and fraught with danger, but I knew that we were prepared to face whatever lay before us. Together, we would stand against the darkness, and together we would bring light back into the world. For today, at least, we had hope, and in a world where hope was hard to find, that was enough. The city slumbered beneath a blanket of darkness as we stalked through its twisted alleys, the echoes of our footsteps the only sound breaking the silence that had settled over us. David, my reluctant ally and mentor, walked ahead, his shoulders stooped under the weight of the secrets he carried. I trailed behind him, my heart pounding in my chest like a drum, each beat echoing with the anticipation of what lay ahead. The moon cast long shadows across our path, and the wind whispered through the cobblestones, carrying with it the scent of danger that hung heavy in the air. We knew we were being watched, and I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end as a cold shiver ran down my spine. We arrived at our destination, a dilapidated warehouse nestled between towering skyscrapers. The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit interior filled with the scent of oil and decay. As we stepped inside, I felt a shiver of fear run through me. This was it, the final confrontation with our enemy, the monster who had evaded justice for so long. The warehouse was empty save for a single figure standing in the center, bathed in the pale glow of the moonlight that filtered through a broken window. As I approached, my heart pounding in my chest, I realized it was him, the criminal mastermind we had spent weeks pursuing, the man who had brought so much pain and suffering to this city. His eyes met mine, cold and calculating as he spoke, his voice a low purr that sent chills down my spine. "You've come for me," he sneered, a cruel smile playing on his lips. "But I have no intention of going quietly." As he reached into the shadows, I felt a sudden surge of adrenaline, my body springing into action without a thought. I grabbed the first thing I could find, a rusty pipe, and swung it with all my might, connecting solidly with his jaw. He fell to the ground, groaning in pain, but he was quick to recover, lunging at me with a snarl. In that moment, I felt something snap within me, a fire burning bright in my chest as I fought back, fueled by years of anger and sorrow. With each blow I landed, I could feel the weight of my vendetta lifting, replaced by a newfound sense of purpose and determination. As David joined the fray, our enemy proved to be a formidable opponent, dodging and weaving with preternatural skill. But we were relentless, driven by our shared vision of justice and redemption. We fought through the darkness, our bodies slick with sweat and our breaths coming in ragged gasps. In the end, it was David who delivered the final blow, a powerful punch that sent our enemy reeling to the ground. As he lay there, groaning in pain, I could feel the weight of our victory settling upon us like a shroud. We had done it. We had brought this monster to justice, and in doing so, laid our own demons to rest. As the sun rose over the city, casting long shadows across our battered forms, I felt a strange sense of peace wash over me. This was not just a battle for us. It was a struggle for the souls of those who had been forgotten, a fight for redemption and a chance at a brighter future. And now we had won that battle together. In the days and weeks that followed, the city seemed to come alive around us, the people grateful for the justice we had brought them. The monster was behind bars, his reign of terror finally at an end. We were hailed as heroes, our names etched in the annals of history as the ones who had brought justice to those who had been forgotten. As I stood on a rooftop overlooking the city, watching the sun set over the skyline, I felt a sense of pride swell within me. We had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, united in our pursuit of truth and driven by our demons. And in doing so, we had not only brought justice to those who had been forgotten, but also found a way to lay our own demons to rest. But as I looked out over the city, I knew that our work was far from over. There would always be more monsters lurking in the shadows, waiting for their chance to strike. And we would always be there, ready to face them head-on, united in our pursuit of justice and driven by our shared vision of a better world. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the city in a warm glow, I knew that we had only just begun. Together, we would continue to stand against the darkness, bringing light back into the world one case at a time. And for that, I felt a strange sense of hope, not just for ourselves, but for this city and all its people. For in this world there were no heroes, only flawed individuals stumbling through the shadows in search of redemption. But with determination, courage, and a shared vision of justice, even the darkest of nights could be illuminated by the light of hope. And that, I knew, was something worth fighting for.